Molly on the Express. Molly was not enjoying her life at the sheds with the three black engines. The Fat Controller was beginning to think of her, but Molly was fed up with Donald, Douglas, and Neville talking nothing but about Molly's trick on Stephen that day. Remember when we used to get you into trouble, Molly? The three engines always say. But all what Molly could try and say to them was when Donald crashed his tender on a signal box, and when Douglas smashed the spiteful brake van to pieces by accident, and when Neville got his tender shunted into the river. You talk about us too much. You talk about us too much, Molly. They all said Neville, and you always boast about yourself too much. You can't be a really useful engine. Molly was upset and went to sleep for the rest of the night. Morning came, and at last Duncan came to wake the four big engines up. It's time for the Express, said Duncan. Neville, get off already. Neville was ready. You watch me this morning, Molly, said Neville. I know all the ways to every different station while I'm pulling the Express. But unfortunately, Neville was wrong. Goodbye, Molly, said Neville. Make sure you watch me around. And Neville was out of the shed, and then he puffed away. Molly then came out of the shed too. She was going to play with some trucks. And Donald and Douglas were going to rest in the sheds after their long big day off. Just then, Billy was still shunting Neville's coaches for Neville. They were shunted to the station, and at last they were at the station, and Billy puffed away. And there was Molly at the back, ready to watch Neville go. Neville finally found his own coaches and was coupled to them. The people got in the coaches. The guard blew his whistle, and Neville puffed away. Peep, peep, Molly, he said, goodbye, and he was off. Goodbye to you too, said Molly cheekily. Just then she was still playing with the trucks. She loved playing with trucks, and she gave them a bump. Oh, 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 said the trucks, not so hard. But Molly always never listens. She kept on playing with the trucks all day. After Molly had finished playing with the trucks, she saw Neville coming back to the same station he started on. Neville looked embarrassed. What's the matter, Neville? Said Molly. Have you lost your way again? No, said Neville. I was switched to the wrong direction, and then I had to start again. The passengers got out of the coaches and grumbled to the Fat Controller. We want our money back, they said. And then the Fat Controller blew his whistle so loud that it began to hurt the passengers' ears. Quiet, he said. If Neville has failed, I'll choose another engine. What about me, sir, said Molly. I'll do it. You'll do so then, Molly, said the Fat Controller. Said the Fat Controller happily. Neville was coupled to the coaches and went to play with some trucks, just like Molly was this morning. Good luck, Molly, said Neville. I will save it for the least, said Molly, and Neville was ready to do Molly's games. While Molly was getting coupled to the coaches, the passengers got back in the coaches. The guard blew the whistle once again and waved his green flag to let Molly know that she is going to go, and Molly puffed away. Molly was still enjoying herself. She felt like she never pulled the express for ages. Hurry, hurry, panted Molly. You're pulling us well, sang the coaches, and this made Molly feel better. Molly smiled happily around the countryside. She began to enjoy it, and the passengers were very pleased with Molly. When they reached the top station, the passengers gave 3 cheers to Molly. The Fat Controller, who had been on the train, came to congratulate Molly. "Well done, Molly," said the Fat Controller. "You impressed me well. Would you like to pull the express again another time?" Molly whistled happily. "Yes, sir, I'd love to," she said. And the Fat Controller agreed. A few minutes later, after Molly gained victory on the express, she saw Neville again, who was pleased to have heard what she had done for him. Molly smiled at Neville. Neville began to talk first. I heard that you succeeded," said Neville. "Well done, and thank you for helping me out." "No problem," said Molly. I see you've taught those trucks of mine a lesson." "I sure did," said Neville, and Neville puffed happily away with the trucks. Neville and Molly were now good friends, and will always help each other when things are going wrong.